let's look back on Divisional Round weekend.
Yeah.
We have a mailbag that we're going to pop open, and this leads into the first question, the conversation about the Saints from Enma Perez 09. Why didn't every team do what the Buccaneers did and challenge Drew Brees to either throw it through a tight window underneath or try to throw it deep, Chris?
Well, I think a lot of teams did try to do that. We saw Kansas City go into New Orleans and really do a lot of those similar type things. It's not always easy, and you don't always have the manpower to do that against the New Orleans Saints. Within playing them, you got to worry about their great offensive line, their run game, and doing all of that. The Bucs have a team that they can trust their defensive line to stop that run game, but I think really what ultimately came down to it is, they watched their first two matchups against Brees. They realized, especially in that blowout loss, that they were picked apart playing zone coverages. They played a little bit more aggressively in the second half as far as man-to-man's concerned, and I think they went into this game going, wait, we got to make Drew Brees make throws and into tight windows and can't let him just pick apart zones. And that was a difference. And that's been something we talked about a lot throughout the year, right, Mike? I mean, it didn't always end up in losses for the Saints, but you and I talked about a lot where the threat of them not having a downfield passing game was an issue and why they sputtered against the Bears early in the year and the Carolina Panthers when they won 27-24 and the overtime win against the Chargers. All of them did these type of things that we saw the Bucs do. The Bucs just came out with the win.
Hey, I look at it this way. I mean, first of all, we saw what happened to supplement the inability to get the ball down the field. They would go with Taysom Hill. We've seen that over the past couple of years. But when it was time for the trick play, the play they borrowed from the Chicago Bears the week earlier, you bring in Jameis Winston to throw that ball. I think it's got even a greater element of surprise if you split Drew Brees wide on that play. You don't expect Drew Brees to throw that ball.
Yeah.
Because when Winston comes in, you're immediately on guard for something as a defense. It makes it harder to pull off the ruse when, but here comes Winston, something's going on, and they're putting Winston out wide, something's going on. So, they don't trust the arm strength, and the arm strength just isn't there. For me, it first flagged in that divisional round game against the Eagles 2 years ago when they had 2 weeks to get ready for the game. They knew exactly what the first play was going to be, and it was underthrown. Ted Ginn was open. Trayvon LeBlanc jumped up and intercepted it, and it created an opportunity for the Eagles to get up. I think they were up 14-0 in that game.
I think so, yeah, something
before
like
the Saints
that.
even got their shoes on.
Right.
So, and that throw was the spark. So, yeah, we've seen it, and I think that's one of the reasons why, even if Drew Brees wanted to come back, I don't think, even though Mickey Loomis has said he can play as long as he wants to, that's just being polite.
I think so,
the Saints are ready to move on.
Right. I mean, I would hope that Drew Brees can see it for what it is, too, and just be real about it and go, okay, I'm not the same guy. And at some point, you got to start asking yourself, wait, am I helping the team or am I hurting the team? And I think that's a legitimate question that he could look in the mirror and ask right now. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful that way or anything like that. Mike, you want to check out that, let's bring up those dots on that play again if we can, just to show it. Because it's really interesting too, Mike, where Brees has good protection. If we can rewind it to the start here, where, you see Alvin Kamara. He's going to split those two tight ends right up the middle. Well, one of the things, he's got a great pocket. And as it goes, Mike, you'll see if Brees waits on this, he might score a touchdown. I don't know what. You could see the corner, the safety, they have spread. They went away. This is now the ball's been intercepted and they're running down the sideline. But it really, you talk about a game-changing play. Yeah, it was huge for the Bucs. I mean, it's this close, or Brees just patting the ball one more time and waiting him to go 5 more yards, and he might hit his head on the goalpost. That's just how crazy the game of football is. Game of inches.
But it was starting to collapse around him, and if I recall correctly, there was that moment where he had the bloody arm. I mean, he got knocked hard one play, and maybe that got him
just getting it out of his hand.
To get rid of the ball a little sooner than he would have. And here's what I'll say about Drew Brees, because I look, we have to respect one of the great careers of all time, and I have extra respect for somebody who takes whatever God-given abilities he has and gets more out of them than anyone ever would have imagined. When you consider he was the trailblazer for short quarterbacks, And he kept going and going, and he had the shoulder injury that would have ended anyone else's career, quite possibly. He fought through that and then unlocked this higher level of potential. He was, cast aside by the Chargers, welcomed to New Orleans, became one of the most important figures in the history of that city. And the future potential for a guy like Drew Brees, given that will that he has and the ability and the desire and the work ethic, I mean, he can do whatever he wants to do. I remember talking to him about it at the Super Bowl a few years ago. He wants to do different things. He can do anything. He's like in that same Peyton Manning mode where this guy can do anything he wants to do. Once he gets that focus, he's going to be successful. It's just a matter of what he chooses to do.
Yep.
All right, who will the Saints choose to be their next quarterback? We assume it's going to be Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. Red Brood has a question about the possibility of Deshaun Watson being the next starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, and also much love from the UK. Much love to the UK. Thank you for that, Red Brood. Here's my Deshaun Watson story, because this was before your time on this program. Houston, almost 4 years ago, interviewing Sean Payton, and Deshaun Watson just finished up at Clemson. And got done with Peyton, and here comes Deshaun Watson. And Peyton moved faster than I would have ever expected to see Sean Payton move. He was, boom, on Deshaun Watson. He was fascinated by Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson was on the board when Sean Payton made his 11th overall pick in the 2017 draft. Patrick Mahomes wasn't. I think it would have taken Mahomes. I think at the end of the day, he decided there is a gap between Mahomes and Watson. So fast forward 4 years later, I don't think that the Saints are going to be in the Deshaun Watson derby if it comes down to it.
I don't think so. I mean, they are one of the teams where I think, for me, the thing I think about with Deshaun Watson is it's not to me, it's not a team that's like the Jets. I know there's a lot of Jets fans. They want Deshaun Watson. You know what you'll be with Deshaun Watson? 4-12, just like the Texans were with Deshaun Watson. You got way too many holes. So you'll just be the Jets with Deshaun Watson. Sorry that you're not the type of team, and I guarantee he'd say no to getting traded to you guys anyways. All right? Yeah. So sorry, Jets, that way. The teams that are going to look to trade for him, though, I do think are teams like the Saints, where our team's in place. We're really good as far as how we're built. We're just missing that guy or that position. And that, to me, is going to be the team, that kind of team, at least in formula, that will trade for Deshaun Watson. I think I wouldn't trade for Deshaun Watson if I have 75 holes to fill in my team, and now I'm going to trade 40 of those assets away to get one guy, and we're never going to fill those holes in the team. I wouldn't think about it that way. So that's where it is interesting. And like the Saints, I don't know, Mike, like I thought about this a little yesterday. I feel like it'll be Taysom Hill, right, as a starting quarterback. I would think they'd pay Jameis Winston a pretty penny to be a high-quality backup once again, too, because I don't think anybody's going to bring Jameis in to be a starter this year. So I still think the best avenue for him is to stay with the Saints. Taysom Hill plays quarterback. There's a great chance you're going to get to start and play games. I mean, he barely plays now, and he's got a bruised knee, and he's had a concussion this year and all those issues. So I would think we might see the same two quarterbacks with the Saints next year.
And the evidence is there because Sean Payton explained that Taysom Hill got the starts when Drew Brees was injured because Sean Payton had given Taysom Hill his word that that's what would happen this year. And Sean Payton also gave Jameis Winston his word that Winston would be in the mix to compete for the starting job post-Brees. So when they got Jameis Winston to come to town last year, this wasn't a one-year thing. This was a come this year, practice, you'll get to play some, and that'll be part of the evaluation of the competition that goes into 2021. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you see an offense that uses both guys like we've seen an offense that uses both guys with Brees and Hill. It'll just be Hill and Winston moving forward. By the way, Matt Casey points out that Deshaun Watson's official Instagram account liked a picture of the New York Post back page from Monday that said the Jets should do whatever it takes to acquire Deshaun Watson.
Oh, Jets, he wants to come. Matt Casey is a Jets fan. I think you need to let the fans know
that. Here's Deshaun Watson is stirring he wants to have.
Yeah. Lots of people.
He wants it to be he wants to speak it into existence. Eventually, I was going to speak into existence the phrase I was looking for, which is he wants to speak it into existence. I think he wants Miami. You and I have both heard Miami is the focal point. But, for the Texans to do it, it can't just be Miami. The Texans need to have multiple teams at the auction where the Deshaun Watson contract is held up and they have their paddles and the Texans get their maximum price before they let him go. And that's the dilemma for Watson, because you don't want your next team to give up so much that your next team's going to be 4-12 with you.
Right.
You don't want to gut the roster or the future draft picks. So there's a sweet spot there somewhere. It's not going to be easy, but it's obvious that Deshaun Watson wants out. Hey, postscript to the day that I was interviewing Sean Payton and then Deshaun Watson came up to the set and those two talked. At some point later that day, this guy who slid down from a beanstalk came over and introduced himself to me. Big guy with a giant head. I can't remember
That
who
was
it
the same day there? That was in the huge convention center there in Houston, Texas, right? I remember that, right. I do. I can remember that one yesterday. I know. I was like, who is this jerk over here? Like, we can say
wait a
hi
minute.
to him.
That was what I was saying. Who's this? This guy's coming over and he's trying to intimidate me and he's looking down on me. It's like, get out of here, you big lummox.
I can't wait till I can get around you again and just I'm going to put you in a headlock and give you a noogie and mess up your hair and do it all. I can't wait.
Yeah, wait a minute. I can't wait till I get around you again and throw up in a garbage can. Is that how you were going to finish the thought? Because the last time we were together, that's what you did.
Yes. Hey, Mike. Good to see you.
All right. Thank God that footage isn't queued up to be rolled.
It's coming,
shortly, like it used to be. I know. If I talk long enough, maybe we'll see it. All right. Next question from SimCine. Has anyone seen Michael Thomas? I thought nobody could guard him. And let's double that one up with John Pascal's question. More likely to be traded this offseason, Michael Thomas or OBJ? I like that question.
Ooh, that's well, Michael Thomas, I doubt he was totally 100% in that playoff game and everything like that. But again, we saw some of his flaws too there. He's not a guy, again, that's going to scare and back people off that way. He's not. People aren't scared of Michael Thomas catching a slant and running for 70-yard touchdown. I don't think we've ever seen that. Very rare you see him really catch just a straight go route and do those type of things. There has to be a certain way he's used in a certain offense that makes him effective. I've said this many times. If you ask Michael Thomas to go up to the Seattle Seahawks and do the same things DK Metcalf does, he wouldn't be nearly the same guy. He's not a guy that's just a physical specimen where you have to worry about, whoa, he's going to run by me and just whether he catches a short pass or a long pass, and I have to worry about that. He's a route runner. He's tough. He's physical. He can work the middle of the field. That's the kind of player he is. That's why I've always said I don't think he's the best receiver in football, even though he's phenomenal. But, Mike, what do you think? I don't know. I mean, both of these guys I would think are going to get phone calls as far as trade offers, as far as Thomas and OBJ.
As we reported during the season before the trade deadline, Thomas's people were calling around to select teams saying, make an offer, please, for Michael Thomas. This is when he was injured. This is when, remember, he got suspended, but not really suspended by the Saints, got into a fight with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Then again, who hasn't? So I don't know who to really blame there. But there was something going on with the Saints and Michael Thomas then. And when you look back at recent history, Antonio Brown tweeted his way out of Pittsburgh. Stephon Diggs, one message. The day they extended Kirk Cousins, Diggs is like, I'm out, I'm gone, and they traded him. It's about, matching up with a quarterback, and it worked very well when it was Thomas and Brees. And if Thomas doesn't believe in the offense moving forward, if the Saints don't believe in him, if the Saints, remember the stories that came out about Thomas's, he's been kind of difficult to deal with, and he was a problem for like PR staff, and once Sean Payton reaches his breaking point, it's done. Now I know Payton has to play it right strategically. You don't want to give the guy away, but hey, I see Urban Meyer in Jacksonville, and he recruited Michael Thomas, and Michael Thomas played for him at Ohio State, and they got all those draft picks, and they got all that cap space in Jacksonville. That's one that I would at least keep an eye on right out of the gates.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, I would think that teams with everything that you just mentioned that went on are going to make a call down there. We'll see. You're right. We don't know how happy he is there altogether. But If you had a bet which one gets traded, who would you bet? Michael Thomas or OBJ?
You know what? I would say OBJ because I think his contract's easier to move, and I think there'd be a bigger market for OBJ than Michael Thomas right now.
I have the same thought. I guess the only thing that makes me pause is just because of the ACL injury, but I don't know if that'll make a big difference, right? Especially because it happened early in the year for OBJ, and I would think that, he'll be full 100, miles per hour go by the time training camp and the regular season roll around. But it's going to be interesting, and really, Cleveland playing their cards right there with the OBJ conversation. They have said everything right. Stefanski continues to back him and say all the right things because if he is back, then hey, you want to use him, and certainly he's still talented and everything like that, but he's also letting it be known that, they like him to where you're going to have to trade something to get him off that team.
But and that time is coming quickly. We got word yesterday there won't be a scouting combine, which is a shame, but there still will be free agency and trades, and that's March 17. That's fewer than 2 months away that we're going to reshuffle the deck on 2021, and that's when the window opens for trades for guys like Michael Thomas, OBJ, and plenty of others who are out there. At Steelers, Maddie has a question. What did the Chiefs do differently than the Steelers in defending the Browns? Or was it just that they tackled and the Steelers didn't?
Well, I think there's some of that. I think the biggest thing is not even about the defense. It's not. It's, Kansas City's offense didn't do some of the dumb things that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense did. That was really the story of that game. I know we all want to look at the Steelers and go, oh, they let up all those points in that football game. Well, I would go, no, dumb interceptions by Big Ben, the snap over the head, all of that. I don't care who you are. You could bring back the 85 Bears. They were going to let up some points in that football game in the positions they were put in. But the Chiefs, Spagnuolo is very creative. He really is. They probably have more depth on the defensive line. That's what I'll say more than anything than the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's more depth there. There's more big people in general. And the Chiefs are, just like we talk about their whole team and their offense, their defense fits the mold too, Mike. You say it all the time. Just when there's a challenge posed to them, they rise to it. It doesn't matter. Oh, the two-headed monster, maybe the best running back in football is coming in. No problems. We'll stop it. Chris Jones, Nandi, all these big dudes. Boom, 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 boom. You're not running on us. They're really amazing that way and how they can just turn on the switch and shut something out.
One thing that dawned on me yesterday, Chris, about that Browns-Chiefs game, I mentioned it last night on PFT PM, and I wrote something about it. We talked all last week about how the Browns needed to shorten the game, minimize possessions to deal with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then when Mahomes got injured, they should have flipped it the other way. They had 2 drives after Mahomes exited. That first drive that resulted in the touchdown that made it 22-17 consumed 8 minutes and 17 seconds of clock time. You want more opportunities. When it's Mayfield versus Chad Henne, you want more times for both teams to have the ball. And then we saw that last drive. We talked yesterday about that last drive where they had the ball from 8 minutes down to 4:17 to move it 12 yards and then punted and didn't get it back. I'm stunned for as much respect and admiration as I have for what Kevin Stefanski did in his first year as a coach that they didn't realize they had to flip. They had to speed up the plays, have a greater sense of urgency, and have more possessions, not fewer down the stretch. Because if there would have been more possessions for both teams, the Browns would have caught them without Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I hear you. It's just, again, I'm not going to go crazy on Kevin Stefanski. The Chiefs' defense is playing damn good. I mean, that 18-play drive, I'm sure they would have liked to got down there in half the time or half the plays. But, damn, would they have to convert? 3 fourth downs or 2 fourth downs, another third down? I mean, Kansas City's defense did not play bad in that drive. That was really just 2 good units going at it, and Baker Mayfield made some unbelievable throws into some tight windows and all that. And I hear you with the end of the game situation. I get it. But I think they're also looking at it going, hey, we just moved the ball methodically on this team. We think we can do it again. And the Chiefs are not exactly famous, and without Patrick Mahomes, for running out a clock and doing that. So I think they played that percentage right there. It backfired. It didn't work. But it's not one that I'm going to sit here in the offseason and second guess all the time.
Speaking of the Chiefs, Chief Boyardee points out that Tyrann Mathieu seemed to be flying into the screen at 100 miles per hour every play yesterday. That guy doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He is awesome. He doesn't fit any one box, but he's kind of got that. And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday as it relates to Devin White. It's the Devin White, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Troy Polamalu, Tyrann Mathieu. They just have a sixth sense of where the ball is going to be.
Definitely. And
they tend to be around it.
Yeah, agreed. You know, I even say Jamal Adams, he's in that conversation, that kind of guy, right? It's tremendous instincts. It's probably a million hours of backyard football growing up. And then it's guys who love football who study it during the week in the film. Like Tyrann Mathieu is not physically the player he was 5 years ago. You know, I've heard Ray Lewis talk about this before. You've heard other great players talk about it. But his read and recognition skills at this point of his career are off the charts. And he makes plays sometimes where you just go, I don't know how he diagnosed that so quickly and realized it was that play. But it's his study, his love for the game, and just his natural given instincts, like a sixth sense like you're talking about.
Yeah, just incredible. And he's got a Super Bowl ring and 2 games away from another Super Bowl ring for Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
The way he was kind of cast aside by LSU, the Cardinals took a chance on him. They kept him for a while, and they cut him loose. And, boy, you think back to a couple of years ago when it was Tyrann Mathieu and Earl Thomas as the marquee safeties on the market, and the Chiefs got the right one and the Ravens, all due respect, got the wrong one. At J. Amunde, why do teams, thinking of the Ravens, wait until halftime to make adjustments? The Bills were giving them short passes and taking away the run, but they still didn't adjust until it was too late, Chris.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I won't disagree with that. But the Ravens are always going to go down with what brought them there, and that was the run game and doing that. They had just got into the short passing game and things going that way. You know, let's not forget it was 10-3, and they had the ball at the 8-yard line. You know, they had found out, okay, this is how we're going to have to move the ball. Lamar did make a few throws. Now the next thing is just getting better at all of it. You know, the offense needs to help out Lamar. They need to find a few receivers. And like we heard Willie Snead yesterday, and we talked about that a little, you know, Lamar's got to get better too. You know, even like the play before the interception and the pick six. Hey, the pick six, you would like Lamar not to stare down that Mark Andrews down the middle and kind of see the whole picture, and he would have been able to see that Teron Johnson was playing between Willie Snead and Mark Andrews and just reading his eyes, and you could kind of just play 2-on-1 basketball. But the other thing, too, is the play before that. Remember the play before that, Mike, where Jerry Hughes gets the pressure, and they got a wide-open Hollywood Brown, you know, coming across there. It's going to be an easy touchdown, but Jerry Hughes gets to Lamar, and he's got to throw it off his back foot and doesn't get it there. That, to me, is like the next step for Lamar, is that kind of stuff, just right there. He's an amazing football player. But like Josh Allen, Rodgers, Mahomes, they make that third down throw or the second down throw where they're fading away and somebody's in their face and they throw the ball to Hollywood Brown. They make that. And that's where he's just got to become a little bit more of a complete passer thrower to where they can scare teams that way. And the offense has got to help them.
Important question next. At Nosato, can I get a damn okay for the Packers O-line?
Damn, okay. We will. That was. I mean, it's impressive. We both have waxed poetically about them here, and they imposed their physicality on the Rams. And we didn't even hear about Aaron Donald all game long, really. And that's the thing I love about the Rams. And what's going to be interesting and different, I mean, what I love about the Packers, what's going to be interesting and different about this Tampa game this time around. Tampa the last time could kind of play, let's play a bare front and we'll play coverage. It's just not going to be that easy now. I don't think you could just sit there and play coverage and thinking Ndamukong Suh and JPP and them are going to stop the run. Not against this Green Bay team the way they're doing it right now. We've seen them every week the last month where you load the box, they still run it and run it successfully. And I think that's where they're a different animal than week 6 of this year.
And the other thing, too, about Aaron Donald, he wasn't.
Okay. Damn.
He wasn't.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Aaron Donald was injured. Can we stop?
Stop playing it.
I don't know whether it's the song or whether Chris is talking.
It's not. It's from my podcast. Right. So go ahead. Stop it.
Anyway, Aaron Donald was injured, clearly. And it was funny because You know that the coach is engaged in blatant BS when the announcers call BS during the game on the coach, because at halftime McVay denied that Aaron Donald was playing limited snaps,
right.
and it
We're
was
not
obvious that he was. Yeah, of course you are. And look, I respect Aaron Donald for trying to fight through it. He was really emotional after the game. You only get so many opportunities to try to build your legacy. And this guy was drafted in 2014. This isn't like he just showed up 2 years ago. He's getting closer to the end. He's closer to the end than the beginning when you consider how physical he's played, and he's been getting hit by 2 and 3 guys every snap. So, these opportunities are not going to be automatic, and he was very confident about where that Rams team was going to be. But the Packers stepped up. The offensive line was really good. And I remember when David Bakhtiari got injured and that word started to circulate. If you're a Packers fan, that's that pit in your gut where you're just like, oh, the season was going great, and now it's done.
Right.
Haven't missed a beat.
No.
Haven't missed a beat. After making Bakhtiari the highest paid offensive lineman in the history of the league, they haven't missed a beat without him. I'm not saying they shouldn't have paid him.
Right.
I'm just saying this is a testament to the offensive line coach, the head coach, and the backups who came in and got it done.
Yeah.
All right, one more real quickly. Aru 811, and this is a topic that we touched on briefly yesterday. Why isn't there a song for Tom Brady? Seems like a self-scout thyself thing for Chris, not even a fan, but think he deserves one. Something auto-tuned feels like it fits. Now, I've suggested that the Barry Manilow song Mandy be retooled for Tom Brady. I think it would be very effective. It's very wistful, and it would be an opportunity for you to acknowledge your past failure to appreciate the greatness that is Tom Brady.
Shut up, okay? Shut up. I appreciate Tom Brady a lot. Yeah, the song thing was totally organic. It came from Aaron Rodgers originally and me being stupid on my podcast. After that game, he beat the Bears back in the day with one leg and threw those touchdown passes on one of the opening Sunday nights here on NBC a few years ago. I started singing songs about how amazing he was and doing that. And then I really kept it to the younger, new, fresh guys, as you know. It's been Mahomes and Watson and Josh Allen and that kind of stuff. I do think about the Brady one, though. I do, every now and then. And I have people ask me a lot. So I feel like, to me, though, it's got to be something like he's the general, the commander. It's too pristine. It needs to be like Tom Brady's coming to town again, hurrah, hurrah. It's something crazy like that. He's the commander in chief, something like that. But I'll figure it out eventually.
All right. Well, you better figure it out if he wins this weekend. We're going to need to debut something in advance. Of the
Okay.
Super Bowl. And hey, it's just incredible what he's done over the last 6 games, including the playoff game. 318.8 yards per game, 9.4 yards per attempt, and 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. That completion percentage, 64.8. It's been down near 50 the past couple of games.
I love it.
But he's getting the ball down the field. No risk it, no biscuit, baby.
Exactly. It's putting pressure on the defense. To me, the more is not passing yards per attempt. The impressive thing with him is completions, the yards per completion. When he's dropping back to throw, they're looking to make big plays, and that helps your running game and everything else, and the defense is shaking in their boots because they're always worried about you making some aggressive play that way, and that, to me, is right now where football is at. We're done 72% and all that thing. I think that's going away. It's aggressive. It's homers and strikeouts like we were talking about yesterday. I think big plays are the name of the game.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.